I got a great comment yesterday on one of my videos. This guy is asking me, he's telling me that he's going to start a maintenance job, but he doesn't know anything about maintenance or anything related. So this video is specifically for guys that are in the apartment maintenance. And this video is geared for this trade, specifically for this trade. I know there's different types of maintenance, but this video is geared specifically for this trade. I will tell you, or anybody that's interested in this channel, I have a lot of maintenance videos, from anything from HVAC to plumbing, sheetrock, painting, all kinds of stuff. So this channel has a lot of maintenance videos, but this video is specifically for somebody that's starting brand new, that doesn't really know the rules or how we work in this business. And I think this video is going to be very useful for somebody that's starting, even for managers that are training new guys. This video is going to be something from the years that I have experience and techs that I know, the experience that I've learned from them. And I'm going to share these tips, these points that are really important for somebody that wants to get into this type of business. The first thing is, when you start in this business, the first thing you're probably going to be doing grounds, and you're gonna start doing grounds and painting apartments, or you're gonna be a porter, just doing grounds. So the first thing is, when you're doing grounds, it's gonna anything if the property is really dirty, really messy, there's sofas, couches, and mattresses all over the property, it's gonna reflect bad on you, the guy that's doing the grounds. And the property's gonna look horrible, but it's gonna reflect right on you. So the first thing you're gonna be doing when you do this is grounds. Probably cleaning the pool and grounds. So make sure you get really good and really clean and really efficient at cleaning the grounds, cleaning the property, making sure the property looks good. The property may not be painted, may not look, immaculate, but your part is having the parkings, the grounds, everything looking nice and clean, the trash inside the containers. That's really important. That's going to be the first number one thing that you're going to have to learn how to do. Number two is you're going to start painting apartments. We all do that. We all start there. You're going to start painting apartments. My advice would be, buy a good roller, a good paint roller, a cheap skin roller, and buy a good brush. A good brush is going to be anywhere from $12 to $15, $18, a decent brush. It's going to really help a lot because you're going to paint a lot faster. Your paint job is going to look a lot nicer and cleaner. Those cheap disposable rollers, they got more paint over the floors. Even if you cover up your carpet with a cardboard or plastic, you're still gonna drip all over that, and you're still gonna step on that, and you may walk outside and make a mess. So my advice is, buy a good roller, a good paintbrush. It's gonna make the job a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot cleaner. My other suggestion is, buy a nice ladder. I have a little plank ladder that extends like 4 feet, so it's just a little short ladder, and that's really good for painting the edges, the trim around an apartment walls. So that's number one. You're going to be doing those two things, but eventually you're going to start going into people's apartments, and this is where it gets really tricky. This is where this job is different than other jobs, because to us it's just an apartment, but to them, to the tenants, that's their home. So there's a lot of different rules that apply to going to people's homes. And these things you learn over time, but in this video, maybe it'll help you to learn some of these things really fast, and it'll make your job a lot easier and more professional. The first thing I'm going to say is, you got to always know how to knock. You don't just knock on a door and walk in there. Even if you have a work order and you're thinking, well, they're expecting me, that's why they put the work order. No, it doesn't work that way, because maybe in that little short period of time, they're in the bathroom, they can't open the door right away, something's going on. You always want to knock 3 times, really loud, really clear, and then if nobody does open the door, or you got to knock or ring the doorbell, whatever applies. If nobody opens the door, you're going to open the doors a little bit, and you're going to start yelling maintenance, maintenance, and you're going to walk in that apartment yelling maintenance. You keep on yelling maintenance, maintenance. If you're going to the bathroom to unclog a sink or whatever, keep on yelling maintenance till you get to the bathroom. And if the bathroom door is closed, always knock too, because people may be in the shower, they don't hear you. So make sure it's people's homes, and make sure you're very respectful and very cautious about what's going on. See, what happens is, sometimes you work in a property so long, you know what time tenants leave, you know if their car, if they're there or not there. But don't assume nobody's there, because they could have a visitor or something like that. So always knock correctly and walk in the apartment yelling maintenance. That's gonna make your job look very professional, and you have to do that. It's really, really important, because it's a tenant's home and you have to respect it. Here's a tip. If it's a tenant's home, well, okay, we'll go to another tip now. Always assume. I've always trained maintenance guys to always assume you're being recorded. In today's age, they can be recording you from a phone, from a laptop, from a camera, from anything, even from an outlet. There's little cameras they can put in outlets now. So always assume you're being recorded, audio and visual. So if you go to an apartment and you're assuming you're being recorded, you're not gonna put your dirty tool bag on their counters or their table, because that's where they eat. So you're always gonna do things right, correctly. You're not gonna touch things you're not supposed to touch. You're not gonna go into people's bedrooms or refrigerators looking at what's going on. If you always assume you're being recorded, you're gonna really act professional every time. You're gonna act like if the tenant was there, and that's really important. And I always say, also, if you're on a phone call, somebody calls you, your wife, your girlfriend, your friend, your brother, and you start talking whatever on the phone, assume you're being recorded. Assume somebody's listening to your half of the conversation. So even like that, even just talking on the phone, be careful. Don't be talking to your friend, say, man, I'm in this really nasty apartment and it stinks in here, and don't do that. They may be listening to you. And always assume there's a cat. And this is really important, because on a work order, it's always going to say if there's a pet or not. Well, it should always say, but somebody can miss that. So if there's a dog, it's going to bark. You're going to know there's a dog, and you're going to close the door right behind you. But if there's a cat, you may walk in there and say, man, I got to carry all this stuff in there. I'll leave the door open for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Don't do that. If they have a cat, the cat might run away, and you'll be chasing a cat for the rest of the day. Or you may be in trouble because it's somebody's pet. They love it. So always assume there's a cat. Always assume you're being recorded. And this is always going to help you do a job better. If the tenant's home, one of my favorite advices is be friendly, be nice, be kind. See, I've known some really good tenants over the years. Very good maintenance techs that are really good, really efficient, but they're really rude or really unkind. Tenants just hate them. They'll say, you know what? Don't send me that guy. That guy's creepy. I don't want him in my apartment. And I've known some slow maintenance guys that may not be very good, but tenants love him. They say, oh, he's so good. Everything he does is really nice, really clean. And you're thinking, well, he took all day to do a little job, but the tenant loves him. So the tenant's always going to say he did good work. And most of the time they're going to say, this guy, I don't want this guy in my apartment. I don't like how he does things. He's really sloppy. He steps all over my stuff. And so attitude, the way you treat tenants is going to make a big, big difference on how tenants see your work. It doesn't mean your work is better or worse. It's just the way they see it. It translates to them to better work or more efficient work just because you're nicer. So my advice is always be nice to the tenants. It's going to pay off. It's a really good piece of advice. Another thing is, don't snoop around. That's really creepy if somebody ever came into my house and the cable guy or anything, he's looking around, looking at my family and stuff like that. I don't want him in my house. And if you're going to be a maintenance tech, nobody's going to want you in their house. Like I said, assume you're being recorded, even if nobody's there. Just assume you're being recorded. So don't be snooping around. If you're there for the refrigerator, don't go to the bathroom. Go to your bathroom. Don't use the tenant's bathroom. And you have no business in there. So no snooping around. This is really important. It's really creepy when somebody's in your house snooping around. So don't do it. It's going to be bad. And don't create those habits, because they're never good, and they'll get you into trouble too. Here's the thing that's really helpful for maintenance techs. We can always pass responsibility over to the office, to our lead or to our manager. If somebody's asking for things that are not on the work order, they're asking for this, that, and the other, you don't have to say yes or no. You just have to say, that's not up to me. Call my manager and she'll decide, and it's not up to me. And because people will try and catch you like that. Hey, I need this. Can you get me this? Can this be done? Don't let tenants throw that responsibility on you. You give it back to them. You call the office and you deal with them, and they'll tell me if we can do that or not. Don't Don't feel responsible to say yes or no. It's not your responsibility. So this is a good thing. So we can pass responsibility to other people that can make those decisions. If you're finding any value in this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. Like I said before, on this channel, I have a lot of videos on maintenance, anything from HVAC to plumbing to sheetrock to painting. So if you're into this is a good channel. You're going to find a lot of how-to videos here. And I would also appreciate a like if you wouldn't mind. Here's one really important thing is don't take anything personal. See, in this business, it's sometimes you walk into somebody's apartment and they're already mad because their toilet overflowed or their sinks, clogged, or the refrigerator went out and they lost some food and whatever, and they're already mad. You walk in there and they're going to want to vent and they're going to want to yell at you. The first thing you're going to hear, and I've heard this in every single property. I've worked in nice properties. I've worked in really bad properties, and I've always heard the same thing. This is what you're going to hear. You're going to hear, they're always raising rents. This place is so unsafe. You're going to hear, nothing ever gets done. We put a work order, it never gets done. Somebody broke into my neighbor's car a month ago, and I really don't feel safe here. And you're going to hear it. Every property you go to, you're going to hear the same thing. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal, because tenants just want to vent sometimes. You're the guy there that showed up with the logo on your shirt, the company logo, and they want to vent, and they want to kind of blame you, but it's not your fault. They're not mad at you. It may seem like they're mad at you, but they're not. I read this in a book. I don't know if you guys ever read the 4 Agreements. That's a great book. And so don't ever take anything personal. It may hurt your ego. You don't want to get into an argument with a tenant telling me, well, go ahead and leave. Why did you renew your contract or none of that? Just leave it like that. Don't take it personal. They'll get over it once they figure out you're friendly and you're there to help them. They'll get over it. But let them vent. It's okay. They can vent. I've told tenants before, they're yelling at me, ma'am, it's okay. You can vent. You can tell me whatever you want. I'm not going to take it personal. Once you do that, you disarm them. They figure out, this guy doesn't want to fight me. He doesn't want to argue with me. So that's really important. Just let him vent. Don't get mad. Just hear him out and tell him, you know what? I understand you. I would probably be upset, but I'm here to help you. I'm not the problem. I'm here to help you. And that's always going to work really good for in this business. I'm reading a list here. It's here's another really important tip: is never disclose what you see in other apartments. Tenants are really tricky. They'll try and get you with this. They'll ask you, hey, is that her mom or his mom, or is that her daughter, or is that a visitor? And don't fall into that. Always, even if you know, tell them you don't know. It's none of their business. You cannot be disclosing what happens in other apartments. I've heard all kinds of questions. They ask me, hey, is my neighbor's apartment really dirty? Is it really messy? Do they have a mess in there? What stinks? Ma'am, I don't know. I just go in there, I do my work orders, and I walk out. I don't really know. People are trying to get you. Do they have nice appliances? And does she have a stainless steel stove? They'll ask you all kinds of things. Don't ever disclose anything that's going on in other people's apartment. It's a really bad habit. And it's really easy to get involved because they start telling you things, and then you tell them things, and all of a sudden you're saying more than you're supposed to. So always make a good practice of not ever disclosing what's anybody's apartment, what's inside anybody's apartment, who lives there. None of that. They've asked me all kinds of questions. They asked me, are they brothers and sisters? Are they boyfriends? Are they married? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any of that information. So don't ever go there. Don't let tenants take you down that rabbit hole, because it's really hard to get out of it, and you look really unprofessional. So don't do it. Here's another one. Never criticize your teammates. And your teammates are anybody in leasing, anybody in the manager, your coworkers, the other cleaners, anybody. See, what happens is I've worked with a lot of guys, and sometimes I'm helping them fix something, and they say, I can't believe this idiot did this, and who would do something so dumb? And it just never sounds good to my ears. It just sounds like just passing blame. You're the one there. Whatever happened, we all signed up for this job. Whatever happened, whatever the guy did yesterday, don't worry about it. You're there to fix it today. Sooner or later, everybody knows who does better work, who doesn't. But don't criticize. Don't pass your life criticizing other coworkers. And sometimes I go into an apartment and they tell me, I put this work order 3 weeks ago. The manager told me you guys would be here tomorrow. Nobody showed up. I waited all day. Nobody came. It's really easy to say, well, the manager never told me. Don't do that, because that's throwing the manager under the bus. Especially if you start saying, yeah, she always forgets stuff like that, and this happens a lot. You're only creating bigger problems. It's not going to help. It's going to make the team look bad. And if the team looks bad, you're part of that team, and you look bad too. What I say is, when somebody tells me, well, this happened, I say, you know what? I didn't hear about it till today, or yeah, the work order, there's a process to them, and we were trying to get to it, but some circumstances happened, and while we couldn't. Don't throw the manager under the bus, because they can do the same to you. So always have that. You're a team. Your coworkers are a team. The other maintenance techs are a team. Don't go around, saying they do this, they do that, they don't know how to do this. That only makes you look bad, because that property's probably been running fine without you for years, and it'll be okay after you're gone. So there's mistakes every day. Any company, any trade, any type of work, there's gonna be mistakes. We're humans. Just don't go around criticizing that. It just doesn't look good, and it's never good for anybody. Here's another one: moving furniture. This is really important, because sometimes you go into an apartment and you just need to put a couple of slats, right, on a window, vertical blinds, and there's a couch there, and it's really easy to move it a couple of feet, get in there, and just put the vertical blind and just put it back and walk out. Don't do it. It's never a good practice, because if you break something, if you break that couch, if you scratch it, if you tear it, if there's an end table and it's got some decorations on it and they fall and they break, you're going to be in trouble. The tenant's going to say, you know what, this had sentimental value and I need it replaced, and it's $5,000, whatever they say, you can't really argue with it. That's because you're moving people's furniture. There's times that I've been into apartments that are really, really, people are just have too much stuff in there, and I need to get a dishwasher in and out, and I tell them, ma'am, sir, I need to have a 6-foot clearance here for, to get in and out. And they get mad, and I tell them, I'm going to change your dishwasher, your refrigerator, your stove, but I need to have access to getting in and out. Some people don't like it, but I tell them, if you don't move it, I can't move it. It doesn't fly. It can't make it thinner, So I always tell them, you need to clear a path, because if I start moving stuff around and I break something, either I or the company is going to be responsible for that. So don't ever go there. Don't make it a habit that they move it. And this is a tricky one, because sometimes if it's a 90-year-old tenant and she's 90 and she can't move her sofa, you may have to help her. But my advice is, let your manager know what's going on, and maybe she can talk to the tenant. If something breaks, we're not responsible. We're going to help you on this, but we're not going to be responsible if something breaks. If the floor tears or something happens, we don't want to be responsible. Or you can pay somebody to move it, and then we'll do our work order. And if the tenant's not there, you can always just leave them a note and say, you know what, reschedule this work order. When you move this, just let the office know, and then they'll let me know, and then I'll do it. And that's a really important one. Here's another one that's really, really, really important. Don't let tenants boss you around. And even though they're paying the rent and you're working and you have work orders and you have things to do, don't let them boss you around. This is what I mean by that. Sometimes you do grounds every morning. You get to, chat with some of the tenants. They become your friends and you're really nice. And then one day they tell you, you know what, I need a light bulb for my vanity. And you're thinking, yeah, it's good. I'll just go get a light bulb. It's easier than doing a work order, and this will avoid a hassle. You give them a light bulb, they install their own light bulb, and you think you did good. Well, next time she tells you or he tells you, you know what, I need 5 slats and I need 2 burners and the 4 drip pans. And here you are carrying stuff back and forth, giving them what they want. They would always rather deal with you than go to the office. They're going to love that. And sooner or later, all the tenants around that complex are going, hey, come here. I need you to go look at my door, and my window screen's it's torn. I need you to go fix that. And they're gonna love that. They love that. If they can't do that, they'll do it, and they'll love it. So make sure, even if you're inside an apartment doing this today, I was doing a work order. I was unclogging a tub, and I was almost done. I picked up my stuff, cleaned up my area. I told the tenant, that's done. This is your work order. And she said, no. I got a couple of things I need you to look at. And I told her, ma'am, I'm just here for this, because this is the work order that you placed. Anything that you need, you're gonna have to, email or call the office, or you can walk down there and they'll write up another work order. And she got upset because she said, "Well, you're here. Why don't you just do it right now?" Well, because that's not how I work. There's a process, and they have to follow it. Otherwise, you're gonna be the guy stuck in somebody's apartment doing their honey-do list of, I need this, I need that, I need the other. And once you're here, and they're gonna love it, and they're always gonna go place a work order for just a light bulb or something real simple. And once you're there, they're gonna have you there stuck. I always tell everybody when I train somebody, I tell them, don't do things without work orders, and especially never walk into somebody's apartment without a work order. It's really easy for them to ask you, you know what, can you come and look at my door? Yeah, I can look at the door from the outside. I can't go in your apartment. I can't go in there. I can't go look at your sink if it's clogged. You got to put the work order, then I'll go in. It's really important to do that. Otherwise, you're gonna just be the guy that they're just calling, and they figure out who the easy one is. If there's 2 or 3 or 4 maintenance guys, they're gonna figure out who the easy one is, and they're gonna be calling you. Hey, come here. I need you over here. I need you to fix it. I need you to go get me that. No, don't ever do that. It's gonna look bad on you. It's gonna be hard on everybody. Make them always put a work order. It's really, really, really important. Make them put a work order, and in the long run, it's gonna be easier for you and for everybody else. So make sure they always have a work order, even though it seems like it's easier to just do it because you're there. Unless it's a hazard or just a big water leak, then you have to fix that. But other than that, make sure that they have a work order. The next thing is have tools. See, when you start in this trade, you're not gonna have a lot of tools. Maybe not the fanciest tools, maybe not the best tools. I'm gonna change cameras here for a bit, but you always want to have tools, and this is really, really important because nobody wants to carry or have the guy with them that doesn't have any tools. When you start in this business, you're not gonna spend thousands of dollars in tools, but you will need a few essential tools to make this job easier and right. So I'm going to open my tool bag here. You don't have to have a fancy tool bag, but you do need to have a tool bag. It's always good to have a notebook where you can write things, simple stuff, even the apartment number. Sometimes you're working inside an apartment and you're doing 5, 10, 15 work orders that day, and all the numbers start becoming a blur. So I just write down the apartment number I'm in. Sometimes I leave my notepad and everything, my tools inside an apartment, and I go grab something. So I just write down the apartment number, take this thing with me, and then I don't forget. Or if I got to go grab a couple of things from the shop, I just write them down, and that's really easy. That's the easiest way to, just make one trip or less trips. Now, as far as tools, to me, the most important tool, one of the most important tools is the 6-in-1. And this tool is really, really good. I used to buy the expensive ones, the nice ones, the fancy ones, but you always end up losing tips. So now I would just buy the most affordable one I can find, $5, $6, $7, whatever. And you're gonna have 2 Phillips screwdrivers and 2 flatheads, 5/16 and a 1/4 inch socket. And these are really, really common. Anything that's HVAC, anything that's appliances, this will get it. So this is a really important tool. You have to have your 6-in-1. You got your 6-in-1, then you can do probably half the work orders. That and a channel lock. You always want to have a channel lock. It doesn't have to be the fanciest, the best. Just have a channel lock that works, and you're going to do a lot of work orders with these 2 things. A crescent wrench. If you ever need to change a kitchen faucet or angle stop or nothing like that, you're always going to need a crescent wrench and a channel lock. These 2 will do it. And this will save you from carrying a whole bunch of wrenches, or sockets. So a crescent wrench, this is just a little 8-inch. This is good enough for what I do. Of course, I got some more in my truck, more in the shop. A flashlight. I got this LED flashlight, rechargeable. It's really good. I can put the light in different angles. It's good for when I'm under sinks, when I'm doing HVAC, when I'm inside a garbage disposal, if something's in there, I can flash this light in there. It doesn't have to be this flashlight. You gotta have a flashlight, some kind of a light. You're always gonna need a flashlight, so this is really important. Out of this, I'm just looking and seeing if there's anything. Oh, okay. This is really, really important. I see a lot of maintenance guy videos. They never carry a thermometer. To me, this is one of the most important tools. I was in a work order this week, and the work order was no hot water. I go in there, I turn the hot water on. It was hot. I thought it was hot water. And she say, no, that's not hot enough. Break out my thermometer, turn it on, 118 degrees, and I tell the tenant, you got water at 118 degrees. So I write on my work order, I open the hot water for, a minute or 2 minutes, and I got 118 degrees water. Now, that makes a big difference between me and the tenant arguing later in the office if it was hot or not, because she's going to say, no, it was not hot, and I'm going to be saying it was hot. And it's going to be my word against her word. So now it doesn't have to be that way. The work order says it was 118 degrees. She saw it. She saw my thermometer. And this is really important, like on HVAC. People, it gets 115 here in Tucson. People walk into the apartment. They turn their AC on. It doesn't cool down right away. And they're saying, this thing's blowing hot air. It doesn't work. I go in there, go on their vent, on their flow, and it's blowing 59 degrees. You tell them, sir, it's 59 degrees. I mean, it's going to take a while to cool down your apartment. You let it get up to 100. I mean, it's going to take a while. But now I can write on my work order, out of the vent, I'm getting 59 degrees, which is a big difference of me touching it, saying, no, it's cold, and him touching, no, it's hot, no, it's cold. We're just going to argue over that. So once you have a thermometer that can read temperatures, of course, then the argument's over. I mean, it is what it is, and you write it down a number, and they can argue they want it colder, but it's already cold, or the hot water, or whatever it is. So thermometer is really important. It's going to save you a lot of hassles. And I've always said it, any work order you do, if you can, don't take pictures of their personal stuff. Take pictures. People will say there was mold, and maybe it wasn't mold, maybe it was just mildew. Just take pictures of anything you can. Oh, here's another really important tip. I forgot this earlier. Don't agree with what people say all the time. They're going to change the words. And this is what I mean by that. I'm going to go back to this camera. See, I've been to work orders where people say, do you think that refrigerator is really loud? And yeah, I think it's loud. Well, that translates into them going into the office and telling the manager, your maintenance guy was in there, and he said that the refrigerator is really loud and he probably can't fix it anymore. Even simple stuff like, is this an old style carpet or new style carpet? You're saying, yeah, I think it's probably the old style carpet. Well, that translated into your maintenance guy was in there and he said that I have an old carpet and I need to get it replaced because I can't live in an old carpet. It's not healthy. So anything you say or agree to, anything you agree to, it's gonna translate into something else. And it's happened to me. It happened to me a few times when I first started. I was looking at a water heater, and the guy said, "Is this worth fixing?" And I said, "I think it's worth fixing." He said, "Is it an old water heater?" Yeah, it's pretty old, but I think I can fix it. Well, that got translated into your tech said it's an old water heater, and he's gonna try and fix it, but it's old. That's what that got translated into. So be really careful what you say, what you agree to, because it'll always come back to you, and they're gonna say it was you that said it. And the tenants have no issue with saying it was you because they want a new refrigerator. Here's another thing. When you're there, we're there to fix things. We're not there to always replace things. We do replace things when they got to get replaced. But see, you go into an apartment to look at a refrigerator, and the tenant was going to talk to you, and they're going to say, that's an old refrigerator. Yeah, it's pretty old. And how old do you think it is? Probably 20 years. The tenant will say, no, I think it's probably 30 years old. And yeah, maybe. So that's all getting translated into something else. Different conversation. That tenant wants a new refrigerator. They don't want you to fix that refrigerator. They're going to go in the office, even if you fix it. They're going to go in the office a week later and say, the refrigerator is no good. When I talked to the tenant, he told me that was a 30-year-old refrigerator that's no longer any good. That's what that conversation translated into. So be really careful. And of course, if they get that new refrigerator, a month later, they're going to figure out, well, now the stove is old and so is the dishwasher. And this is going to be an ongoing problem. Just because you're agreeing with them, now they're going to be calling, well, my stove works sometimes, and you tell them, well, it's working fine right now. Yeah, but when you're not here, it doesn't work. And that translates into, if you agree with them, that translates into that's an old stove, probably as old as the refrigerator. So you just created a big problem just because you're agreeing with it, because you're being nice. When they ask me, is this an old refrigerator? I tell them, you know what? I don't really know what year it is. It's probably on the model number. They can figure it out. I don't want to go there. I don't want to tell them it's old or new. They already know it's old. But if it comes out of my mouth or I agree to it, it's going to translate into something different. So be really, really careful what you say or what you agree to. Now let's get back to the tools here. Okay, so I think that's it for this side. I mean, there's more things that I have, like insulated screwdrivers. Oh, this is a really important one too. This is a wire stripper, but it's insulated. And this is really good because if you're lucky and you get to work on air conditioners, that's a really, really good way to move up on the maintenance trade. You could deactivate capacitors. There's a lot you can do with these. Anything that's electrical, and that's where the money's at, to be honest. So get the tools. If you're there and you have the tool, they'll let you use it, and you know that's a big shortcut to making more money in maintenance. There's things that you can have, like one of these pins that read if there's electricity in an outlet, stuff like that. But that's not that important. I mean, you'll get to it, but you don't need it on your first day. Now, on this side, one of my videos, I'm going to do another tool bag loadout, but I haven't done one in a while. I've got a drill with me. You don't have to have a drill. It just makes things a lot faster if you're changing hinges, doorknobs, whatever you're doing. If you have a drill, it just makes it a lot easier. I use an impact drill. This works fine for me. It just makes life easier for me and faster. If you don't carry a drill with you, don't ask the other maintenance guys for their drill, because you're only going to slow them down. They're going to hate that. If I get a new guy and say, man, you're not using your drill, can I use it? I may hesitate. I may loan it to them for a minute or two. But if I need it in that time, I'm just going to hate that I don't have my drill with me. So this is kind of I would suggest buying one. But if you don't want to, I mean, you get it later. This is another one of those tools. A multimeter. Now, you may not use it on your first week, your first month, your first year, but if you have it, I've known a lot of maintenance guys that have been doing maintenance for years and years and years, and they don't have a voltmeter. I can't send them on an air conditioner because how are they going to know if a capacitor is good or bad? How are they going to know if it's just a fuse? I'm not gonna give them my voltmeter and tell them, go look at the air conditioner. No, if they don't have a voltmeter, then I can't use them on that. Because what are they gonna? Some of them tell me they're techs, they're HVAC techs, and you don't have a voltmeter. I mean, you gotta have a voltmeter. On your first day in maintenance, you don't have to have one, but it's a big shortcut if you're gonna get into anything that's electrical and HVAC, and that's where the money's at. That's where when you start getting certified for those things, that's when you can start making money. If you're gonna buy one, it's better if it can read microfarads, because then that way you can test the capacitors, and that's really important. You're gonna be testing breakers. You're gonna be testing fuses. There's no way you can test a fuse without a voltmeter. So make sure you have a voltmeter. It's not the most important thing, but it's a big shortcut. If you're one of the guys that has a voltmeter on your crew, they may send you, you know what, just go look at those fuses, and then that just opens a lot of doors. So a voltmeter it's 50-50. It depends on how fast you want to scale, but I would buy one for sure. Have some kind of a brush. It's always better when you do a little job. Even if you just drive a couple of screws in the wall, and then that sheetrock that falls on around, just clean it up. It just looks better. So have a brush. I have a couple of different brushes. I got here on this side, I've got a tape measure. I used to carry a big old 25-foot tape measure that I never used. I used to do concrete before this, and I used it all the time over there. But for this job, I just got a little 6-footer. It doesn't weigh anything. It's just hanging on my bag. What you're going to be measuring is screens, doors, weather stripping, simple stuff like that. Small stuff, slats, window vertical blinds, stuff like that. Window sizes, 6 foot. That's fine. If it's a little over 6 foot, whatever you're measuring, you can measure. Make a mark at 6, and then just measure whatever goes on after that. Do a little bit of math. Electrical tape. It's always good to have. This is really, really important. A utility knife. I always carry my own pocket knife with me. But I use my utility knife every day, without a doubt. Every day I use my utility knife. I got to cut a piece of rope, a piece of carpet, anything. Got to have my utility knife. And I think that's it. I think with this little bit of tools here, not much. Just these in a little bag, a tool bag, and you'll be set. I mean, it's very different showing. You could probably buy this set of tools for, it doesn't have to be the highest quality, but $50, $60, $80 maybe, and you'll be set, and you'll be able to do most work orders. Oh, there's another tool here. See if I got it. I should have it, but see if I have it handy. It's a well, I know it's in here somewhere because I always have a few of these, but I'm not gonna find it now. It's a 1/4-inch Allen for garbage disposals. They have I have the actual key that you use for garbage disposals. I'm gonna say that at least 10% of your work orders are gonna be stuck garbage disposals, and it's really easy to get them unstuck with that wrench. So, anyways, I hope this video helps somebody. And like I said before, there's hundreds. Well, there's a lot of videos on my channel, maintenance related, but this is a really important one for anybody that's brand new to this. And well, I hope you guys have a great day. And if you somebody does get into this business, well, good luck.